Hey y'all, gonna go fly this 10-inch that currently has 7-inch props on it because I thought I would try to fly it with that when I broke my propellers out at the field because it's what I had with me. But here's the problem. So see how it's nice and tight on this Axis Flying motor, but over here on this T motor Velox, I can't get it to go down enough. That's because there's not enough threading to go down so that I can actually tighten this all the way down onto the propeller. So we're going to try these Master Airscrew bi-props, and they're 10 inches. I'm pretty sure these holes are too big for these because I've tried Master Airscrew in the past. I got mad because I had to 3D print a little adapter to make it go down to the right size. But what turns out is that's known. They just don't tell you about it. Maybe they do. I just didn't pay attention. And of course they sell these injection molded adapters. And so that's what we're going to be putting on today. And then we're going to go fly. And we want to keep props out. So, all right, props out. Yeah, see, these don't fit. Let's try to make them fit. There we go. Well, that's weird. It only goes in that side. What about the other side? I don't understand. You only do one side, maybe? Doesn't seem very good design. Seems like it should be on both sides, don't you think? So that it's tight on the whole shaft. What am I missing? Someone tell me what I'm missing. Oh well, that's all I can do, so we are going to tighten it up, see what happens. I mean, it's on there tight, so I guess it'll be working. We'll see. Alright, so it is this one. Okay, what is going on? This one doesn't go down far enough either. That's not normal. What is going on? Something wrong with these motors? Oh, there's a piece of plastic on there. That's what it was. I'm gonna let it go down all the way. I think that's what it was. Let's see. No. We're gonna have to put something on there. I don't understand. How's that not enough to go down all the way? All right, so right or wrong, this is how I'm fixing it. Just a number 8 washer. Actually, it's a number 10 washer. That on there. And that's just enough. And I'm putting it on this side because there's friction stuff on the motor here. Let me show you. See how there's like it's kind of a grated thing right there, and so that'll hold on to the propeller better than it will hold on to this little washer. But then from the top, you just need something the size of the nut going down on top of it to press down. Tighten that sucker down as hard as you can, and now we should be good to go and go do a test flight. All right, now we're on to charging batteries to get ready to go fly. So we've got 2 different chemistries charging here. This one is a lithium polymer. It's a 6,000 milliamp hour or 6 amp 60C 22.2 volt lithium polymer. And this one is one that I made, and it's using moly cell, and they are 21700s, and I believe they're they're 45 P45B, so 4,500 milliamp hours. So that means this is a 6S 4,500 milliamp hour, and you can see the size difference. This one's almost half the size, and it's almost half the weight as well. And you get more energy density in a lithium ion than you do a lithium polymer, but you can shoot out that energy way faster in a lithium polymer than you can a lithium ion. So, but you can also get more energy out of this, because this one you have to quit flying at 3.5 volts or you'll damage it. That's like the break off time, like get down as soon as possible. Whereas this one, you can get down to about 3 volts. 3.2 volts is really where you need to come in and land. So big differences in how much power you actually get out of these two as well. So let's hook them up. And they're both at the same, almost the same per cell voltage. I'm going to charge the lithium polymer. I'm going to charge it at 5 amps to 4.2 volts. And this lithium ion, I am going to charge it. It's already pretty much been discharging, so it's down to 4.1 amps, or 4.17 volts or so. So it probably won't take much to get this back up to full. And then I'll charge this other one that I used, and I'm going to keep track of what I put into this to start dialing in my voltage and current monitors on here so that I can get better accurate readings. Alright, this is going to sit here and charge for. This is what happens when you don't tie your balance lead to your drone with a rubber band or something to hold it down, like your Velcro or something like that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use some of these little solder and seal wire connectors and slip it over these wires. And there's 7 wires because it's a 6S, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negative leads and 1 positive. And if you look at this, you have 1 positive and 6 negative. So we just literally are going to make an extension of this. This will be a little long, but that's fine. I don't mind long balance leads on big, huge drones that can handle it. You may notice some burn marks on here. This is originally the battery that was on top of my 10-inch drone that caught fire in the basement. You can go search the videos on my channel, search for campfire or basement, and you should find that. It is fine. It's just got some smoke damage and the plastic around it melted, but the actual cells themselves are okay. So I'm not going to video this, but you'll the way you want to make sure that you're on the right leads is you touch the positive to the red, and then you go through the negatives until you see 4 point something volts or 3 point something, and then it'll double to 6 and then 12. Well, it won't double from 6 to 12. It'll go from 6 to 9 point something or 10. It's basically you're adding each one of the battery cells at the negative point along the path. Okay, this is really exciting. I am new props, untested, and my buddy who's driving me, he said, are you going to test this out before you do it? I'm like, nope, we're going to send it. And here it is getting sent. So right here is just a butt pucker moment, right? Because I'm going out over the water. That is fast moving, cold, snowmelt Colorado River. That is a massive, massive piece of rock right on the other side. There's not really a way to recover if something goes wrong. All of the sky's blown out because there's massive wildfires on what's called the western slope of Colorado. So you got the Rocky Mountains running down the middle of Colorado. It's plains out on the east, and then there's mountains just right here that I'm going into what we call the foothills, and then it goes up to the 14,000 foot mountains, the 13,000, all those mountains that go down into New Mexico, and then up all the way into Canada. And so there's a lot of smoke. What's amazing is I'm editing this the day after, and it was raining when we were driving there. It was sprinkling when I took off, and that rain just cleared out everything. I mean, it was so crystal clear today. It was unbelievable. I live in Castle Rock, Colorado, and I could clearly see Pikes Peak just extremely clearly. So here I'm, I think that fly fisherman down there, I think he waves at me at some point. You might want to pause and see if you can find that. So I kind of flew way ahead, and you know, the driver and I are getting synced up. So he was driving really slow, and I'm like, yeah, you can speed up to normal speed. So he was going to drive with his hazard lights on, and I'm like, no, just drive, man. You know, this is a 10-inch drone. These things can go faster than the speed limit on these dirt roads. They're just incredibly powerful. And I'm not going to try to freestyle this at all or anything, because these bi-blades are really massive. They have a lot of pitch to them, and they have a lot of surface area. So they're grabbing a lot of air, which is really needed, I think, here in Colorado. we're probably around 6,000 to 7,000 feet elevation. And so this isn't like flying by the beach. This is like flying in a airplane, where they have to take into consideration the density altitude. So if you're a pilot in aviation, you know what density altitude is, and where we have to deal with density altitude with our drones as well. You're not going to get the same performance that you do at sea level as you go up thousands of feet in the air, and our ground level is thousands of feet over what you'll see at the beach. And so, if you come up here to visit, another thing to know is you really have to stay hydrated. This elevation, it's a dry, arid environment. I guess that's a redundant thing to say, but it's very dry. It will take and sap all of the sweat off of you before you even feel it. So if you're used to being drenched down at sea level, come up here, you won't feel that. You won't feel your sweat hardly ever because it's evaporating and keeping you cool. And today, I don't know what the temperature was. I'd say it was in the 90s, though. It was definitely a warm day. And 90 degrees there while it's 120 in other parts of the country. So another thing you get with density altitude is there's not as much air to hold that energy from the sun, and so there's not as much heat. You don't feel the humidity, you don't feel the heat, and unlike where there's humidity and it gets soggy and hot, oh man, here's where the storage got full on my I'm running a 04 Pro, and there's not much storage on the onboard storage, and I have a SD card on there, but this is one of those lessons learned. Okay, and what am I doing here? I'm making sure that I have my goggles recording, and that's why we're watching the goggle view, because my GoPro, I learned a lesson on that too. I had too much up tilt, and so this entire flight looks like my head is tilted up at the sky and I can't see the river. That's just from, I was eyeballing the GoPro angle and the 04 camera angle. And here I started to lose video, so turn around, start coming back. That's a little scary, you don't want to get, but look, there's a bend in the road, and while there is some reflection of RF off the walls, it's not going to save you as you get further and further away. So the closer you are, yes, it will do that. So another thing to remember when you're in a canyon like this is be very careful, because you can't see what's to the side or back of you. So if you start to fly to the side to do a turn and there's a big tree right there, you also can't see what's below you. So there's these tall pine trees and these evergreen trees. They're at different heights. They go up all over, like right there on the right. You see there's one that's poking up quite a bit higher. There's these big boulders. I mean, that's ridiculous to call that a boulder, but that's a massive boulder. You don't want to turn and be turning into one of those. So there's, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I've learned some of these the hard way. So this isn't a place you want to come and just try out your first time flying down a river. And it's definitely not the first time you want to be doing multiple firsts at the same time. You don't want to be flying your first 10-inch. You don't want to be flying down the middle of a river. You don't want to be flying while your buddy's driving you in his truck. You don't want to be figuring out that and learning that you get nauseous because your brain is seeing what you're doing right here, but your body is being twisted and turned and bumped in a completely different orientation because you're in a car with your eyeballs covered with this picture right here. So this is definitely bringing a lot of firsts if you've never done this before. I've flown this river before a couple of times, so I feel comfortable. I've flown this drone many times. If you look at my channel and search for, I believe it's campfire, basement, look for keywords like that. If you search within my channel on YouTube, you'll see where this drone actually caught fire. The ESC, sometimes ESCs can catch fire when you land. If your ESC, electronic speed controller, ever catches fire when you land, It's that bump that causes a blip in the motors, and they send a surge of electricity, of voltage down the ESC, back voltage from the motors, because they're like generators. And so they are creating voltage while you're sending voltage from the battery. It's two opposing forces. As they spin faster, they're creating more back voltage that's coming back towards the ESC, and that's partially how the electronics are able to manage the performance of your drone, because that's part of how it figures out what the propellers are doing. Now here we're figuring out where to land, and the reason I could have gone further, look at my battery voltage, isn't, I'm using lithium ion, and lithium polymer you usually want to land at 3.5, and here I am at 376, 377, and I'm coming into land. Why am I doing that? Because I am running out of power, and my transmitter is saying you're dead, battery low. So there it is. There's the long version of what happened behind the scenes to go on this epic journey down the river while flying from a moving vehicle. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're still here, make sure you smash the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you again.